A Clockwork Orange is a 1971 dystopian film directed by the legendary Stanley Kubrick. The film's use of Brutalism in its visual are highly regarded among the film culture as we know it today. Here, we will be discussing what makes this particular choice of architecture style shape the fascinating world that Kubrick was trying to convey. Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange share a strong relation to Brutalism in both the literal meaning and or as it is in architectural context. The violent nature of the film successfully drove it to be banned in several countries. Both Brutalism in the architecture and film are dubious and debatable, and it is where the connection lies. Popular during the 1950s till the 1970s in Birmingham, English, Brutalism emerges as physical evidence of progress and efficiency in the post-World War II era. The term itself comes from the French word béton brut, meaning raw concrete, which reflects the movement's emphasis on the use of exposed concrete as a primary material of buildings made. At the time, concrete was inexpensive and could easily be obtained, which sparked the very idea of Brutalism. That also became the fundamental reason why the products of Brutalist architecture are in rough textures, typically humongous and monotone, having no colors or ornaments, paired with dark tones and clear yet asymmetrical shapes. Embracing this cold and harsh style in A Clockwork Orange, Kubrick has skillfully crafted a deeply unsettling atmosphere that resonated with writer Anthony Burgess's dark vision of future London. This choice, characterized by its stark concrete structure and imposing presence, effectively conveyed the film's central theme of dehumanization and authoritarian control. What's intriguing about this decision is that Kubrick forego elaborate sets in favor of existing locations. This was mainly due to a budget constraint following his ambitious 2001 A Space Odyssey. But this pragmatic approach to set design, accidentally or not, grounded the film in an unsettling present, creating a world that felt real and disturbingly very close. Moving on to the brutalist settings shown in the film, there are a lot to show. In the film, Alex is shown to have attempted to throw Droogs into the lake. Background shows one of the renowned settings in the film, Southmere Estate, Bexley, which takes exact location at 1 Overtone Road, Abbey Wood, London SE2 9SH. The estate, which was planned and built in 2 stages between 1967 and 1972, was intended to house 60,000 people. It is also set to feature businesses, school, pharmacies, and other amenities for communities to survive. However, it ultimately fell short of its utopian dream due to the financial and societal challenges, resulting in the estate's inherently brutal appearance. Its unfinished dream, embodied by its stark concrete structure, serves as a visual representation of the dystopian themes explored in A Clockwork Orange. The second setting shown in the film is Ludovico Medical Clinic. It is where Alex was indoctrinated and tortured, using a technique disguised as aversion therapy. Used in the film for exterior shots of the clinic, the design, blocky, capsule-style lecture halls suspend over paving supported by concrete piers, reflects the film's theme of dehumanization and control, enhancing the disturbing nature of the Ludovico technique scenes. The film also includes shots from other parts of the campus, including scenes shot in Tower D and John Crane Building. It also shot Alex's hospital bed and the lobby of his apartment building. The third setting is Chelsea's drugstore, located at 49 Kings Road, SW3, London, UK, where we can see Alex flirts with 2 young women. It is strange, yet striking interior and exterior design strongly corresponds with the idea of brutalism and its intersection with pop culture. Serving as a trendy spot for youth to hang out, it highlights the contrast between vibrant culture and the decaying society in the grim world. The fourth setting, last but not least, that contributes to brutalist architecture is the Skybreak House. This is the very house that Alex and his gang commits a home invasion, subjecting a writer and his wife to a brutal assault. The exterior of the place appears as a simple box, but when we take a closer look into the interior, it perfectly captures a beautiful brutal living room. The serene design of the Skybrick house contrasts sharply with the violence and chaos that unfolds within its walls. To deeply understand why Kubrick chose this particular style, we need to discuss the symbolism and semiotic analysis of the settings. The brutalist structure seen throughout the film serves a critical part of its world building. These architectural features convey the themes of control, dehumanization, and societal struggle using visual signals and symbolic connections. And, in this case, to convey the cold and totalitarian government, the rawness of a man, and what is bare within the human instinct, which in Alex's case, the violence within human nature. Architecture physically reflects cultural values, beliefs, and aspiration within its society, while culture itself shapes buildings' forms, function, and its meanings, and in this case, architecture reflects the story that the world is trying to convey. The overall roughness of the architecture is used as a mirror of Alex as a character. Just like the concept of the mirror itself, it begins from a small pool of water in a container that replicates how we look even though we cannot see it ourselves. And in this case, it is tuned with how Alex is blind to himself. Alex himself does not see himself as a menace, and yet he is overflowing with fullness. His character is complex and there's a lot to peel off. The architectural features do not only work as a mirror, but as a nightmare to Alex's victims. It is where Alex fulfilled his psychotic tendencies, which resulted in loss, suffering, and even worse to the said characters. These features are brutal, literally, and stripped bare. It acts like a terror. There is a lot to unpack in the lens of societal and cultural impact. The depiction of brutalist architecture in A Clockwork Orange, particularly the Southmere estate, significantly influenced social and cultural perceptions. A utopian dream to post-war housing shortages, Southmere's brutalist design initially represented modernist ideals of communal living and urban renewal. However, its portrayal in film drastically shifted public's opinion. Its correlation with the ultra-violence and dystopian themes of the films have been exploited variously. First, as a critique against post-war social housing policies, and later to rebrand the place for commercial purposes. This points to a shift in public perception of modernist architecture in the post-war era. The film's depiction reinforced negative stereotypes about brutalism, linking it with social decline and isolation. A Clockwork Orange later influenced the way brutalist structures were perceived. They were no longer seen as a symbol of futuristic optimism but as a representation of dystopian dehumanized society. Through the lens of this film, the public view of brutalist architecture was changed, showing the power of media in shaping architectural perceptions and its consequent influence on urban development and housing policies. In conclusion, brutalism in architecture and the film A Clockwork Orange are closely, very related, with the latter being a powerful symbol of control, dehumanization, and societal struggle. The brutalist structures in the film serve as a mirror for Alex, reflecting his complex character and consequences of his action. And for the ones that suffered, it acts like a nightmare that lurks, ready to hunt them down whenever.